Hi, this is Stan Miller. I'm a volunteer for the Dishman Hills Conservancy. I'm going to be talking about water on several videos for this educational series. Here we are at Camp Caro today, and we're going to talk about some of the water chemistry that we're going to be looking at some of the ponds and springs around the Dishman Hills. One of the critical elements that we look at is the pH. Now that's a measure of how acid or alkaline the water is. And it's important because living things like pHs around the middle. A pure water, like is in this bottle, has a pH of 7. Organisms normally want their pH to be between about 6.5 and 7.5 in the environment that they live in. The pH scale goes from 0 to 14. Now, to give you an idea of what things are, this is a bottle of vinegar. Vinegar has a pH of about 2. So it's fairly acidic. Some of your sodas that you drink have pHs between about 2 and 4, depending on what kind of soda it is. So the most alkaline things we have around are things like drain cleaner. This is a liquid drain cleaner that has a pH of about 14, which is very, very, very alkaline. Living organisms, like I said, like to be in the 6.5 to 7.5 range. And when we do testing on water, like the ponds here in the springs, we look at pH as one of the things we measure, because if it's outside of that range, it means there's probably some sort of pollution going on, and it's going to make it hard for organisms to live there. If we get pHs below about 6, those acidic properties of whatever you're dealing with are such that they tend to cause harm for organisms. When you get above about 8, the same thing happens, but they're different kinds of chemical processes, but you still have bad things going on with the organism. So in the environment, when we look at water, we want to make sure that the water is between about 6 and 8 or 6.5 and 7.5 if we want to have water that living things can live in. Can you imagine organisms living in a bottle of vinegar? There are a few that can, but not very many, and they're not big ones. They're little tiny bugs like bacteria. I don't know of any organisms that can live in pHs above about 8, so nothing is going to live in this stuff. So that's basically an overview of what pH is and why we want to look at it when we're doing testing in water systems in the environment.